Hi, I'm Brittany Hartwell. I'm an assistant professor in biomedical engineering at the University of Minnesota, and I received a faculty starter grant in drug delivery from the PhRMA Foundation. I have been interested in science ever since I was a kid, and I think one of the reasons I'm drawn to science is because I'm a person who asks lots of questions. Ever since I was a kid, I've asked lots of questions, and my family would tell you that sometimes it's a borderline annoying number of questions. But I want to understand how things work. As an undergrad, I studied chemical engineering and found myself then more drawn towards the problem-solving, creativity, and design aspects of engineering. And this led me to pursue a PhD in biomolecular engineering, where I focused on using drug delivery to make better, more targeted treatments for autoimmune disease like multiple sclerosis. And it was here that I really became fascinated in immunology, and specifically the intersection of immunology and engineering, and how we can use engineering to direct the immune response. And ultimately, this leads me to where I am today as an immunoengineer who uses drug delivery to make better vaccines and immunotherapies to treat disease. But it really comes full circle because at the end of the day, I still find myself drawn to this work and in love with the research because I love asking questions. I love that one question can lead to two, and two questions can lead to four, and the excitement of having a quest, a mystery to solve. My faculty starter grant in drug delivery is focused on engineering vaccine platforms that can activate enhanced frontline immune defenses in places like the nose by hitchhiking across mucosal barriers. So to combat infections ranging from HIV to COVID to influenza, we need vaccines that can trigger immune protection in places like the nose, because this is where pathogens enter the body. And traditional vaccines that we typically receive in the clinic that are injected, they're not really effective at activating immunity typically in these mucosal tissues. Rather, they activate what we could think of as backup immune defenses in the blood. In contrast, by administering vaccines directly to mucosal tissues, we can activate these frontline immune defenses. But historically, a huge challenge has been delivery of vaccine components across mucosal barriers. So we've engineered a strategy for getting vaccine components across mucosal barriers like those in the nose by engineering a vaccine platform that can bind to albumin, a naturally occurring protein found in mucosal secretions that uses a natural receptor to effectively be shuttled across these mucosal barriers. And our hope is that by engineering mucosal vaccines with enhanced uptake and drug delivery properties, we can also engineer more efficacious vaccines, those that are more effective at protecting people from transmission and infection with these diseases. Without support from the award this year, some of these studies would not have been able to take place. So we're so thankful to the PhRMA Foundation for supporting our lab at this critical time, especially when now more than ever we need support for vaccine development. So in the spring of 2020, when the COVID pandemic hit, I had up until that point spent the first 3+ years of my postdoc working on mucosal vaccines against HIV. And at that time, I saw an opportunity to try to translate the mucosal vaccine platform work that we were doing for HIV towards SARS-CoV-2. And it led to some of the most exciting research of my career so far. It actually ended up changing my research trajectory now for my independent lab. Prior to that, I wasn't inherently as interested in pursuing infectious disease vaccine research. I love the unexpected twists and turns that come out of research, where you have a finding that you didn't expect, you learn something you didn't expect, and it leads you in a different direction in your research, and you end up finding something that you hadn't imagined at the beginning. Now I'm excited to let my students experience that for themselves. I have a lab group of 6 PhD students and a handful of undergraduates, and it's been so fun now in my 4th year as a professor to see them growing in their own research abilities and their own projects, and seeing them gain independence and autonomy as their research takes off. My advice to early career researchers and scientists would be to embrace failure. To embrace failure and to not give up, to persist and persevere. And this is actually this lesson of embracing failure that I've had to learn again and again through each career stage, as an undergraduate, as a graduate student, as a postdoc, and now even as faculty. I have to remind myself that failure inherently is not a bad thing. It's an opportunity to learn and to be better. And actually that it's something I should embrace, that we should embrace our imperfections because it gives us an opportunity to grow. And if we don't open ourselves up to that, then we're stagnant.